Chris McNamara, and today we're sitting down with Gina, who's been a part of Maddies for years. She's seen firsthand why it means so much to the community. Let's head in. Gina, thanks for being with us.
Of course.
Maddies has been a part of Marblehead forever. When you think about all the people who've sat at this bar over the decades, sailors, fishermen, locals, families, what do you think this place has meant to the community?
I know, it's been their living room, their watering hole, their neighborhood bar that they can go get a cold pint, well, 22 ounce, cold 22 ounce draft beer for close to nothing and some good food. And when they sit down at the bar, they're gonna know the person next to them and they're gonna carry on a conversation that they had 3 days ago or 2 weeks ago, or you could even sit down and be someone that you haven't seen in 20 years that's just coming back to revisit because they wanted to see Maddies again, and you know, they moved away, and people, like, they drag their family all the way back across the country just to bring them to Marblehead, to show them where they're from, or, you know, things like that. It's just, I've been able to see different levels and chapters of Maddies and faces, you know, faces that I haven't seen in a long time or faces that I'll never see again. And I think it's the staple of the neighborhood and the town.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's not, you think of Marblehead, you think of Maddies. I mean, It's iconic, no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, this bar even earned a spot on a top sailing magazines or top 10 sailing bars in the world.
Yes.
What do you think sort of creates that connection between this bar and the sailing community?
Well, I think that obviously all the regattas that come through town and the sailors that live in town, we have, like, you know, we have multiple yacht clubs, and I mean, the water is, you could stones throw away. We get our lobsters literally from that dock that we serve. It's one of our employees actually is our lobster guy.
So global recognition, yet at its heart, Maddies is a neighborhood bar.
Yes, very much so.
And every great bar has its regulars.
Yes.
So tell me about the crowd at Maddies.
The crowd. It's funny, people always ask me this. They always say, oh, it must be, you know, like older people because it's Maddies. And I'm like, actually, like, our age group is from, I mean, it is actually a tradition to bring your kids to Maddies. Like, it's all age groups. It literally, people on their 21st birthday who have been coming here since they were 2, like, they've known where the oyster crackers are since they were 5 for the, like, you know what I mean? Like, this has literally been everyone's living room. And parents have always brought their kids here. Even I wait on people who, this is crazy, but I wait on people who are in their 50s and they'll come in here and they'll explain how their parents used to bring them here back in the day when you could still smoke inside. And the kids, they couldn't see anyone. They couldn't see any of the adults because they were so small, and all the smoke. All they could see was just smoke up above, and they couldn't see like anyone above the cloud.
Different era.
Yes, literally a different era. But it's like stories like this. They come in and they tell me, and they're still coming here. They're still coming here after all this time. And there's people who celebrate anniversaries here every year. And I waited on one couple like 3 years ago, I would say at this point, and they came in, they sat down, and they said it was their wedding anniversary. And at first I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then they were like, yeah, we celebrate it here every year. We met here. And I was like, that's awesome. And they said, we have been married this is our 60th wedding anniversary. And he had his bachelor party upstairs with the original owner. The original owner. And I get chills literally talking about it. Still, it's weird, but it is kind of weird. It's weird, but it really just makes it a concrete statement of how much of a foundation it is. And people, I mean, I waited on a girl 2 years ago. She was named after this bar because her parents met here. Like, she came to celebrate her 21st birthday here, and I gave her a free sweatshirt that said Maddies on it because she wanted to buy one. And that was kind of how we got into the conversation of her name and her parents. And I was like, this is yours.
Oh
like,
my gosh, that's
please
so good.
take this.
And speaking of love, Maddies opened on Valentine's Day in 1946.
1946.
So this will be 80 years this winter.
Yep.
My mother and father-in-law met at Maddies. I'm sure you've seen your fair share of love being sparked in this bar.
I've probably started it too. Some drunken love. But
so,
who knows?
Maddies has a cool history of being innovators and starting trends. Tell me a little bit about that and what you've seen or maybe heard over the years.
Well, it's funny because I've almost I've almost adopted the trends. You know what I mean? Like you inherit them with the building. I mean, one trend is everybody that comes here, hi Chip, how are you? I immediately, well, something I always, it's kind of my spiel. You're a bartender, you have spiels, you know what I mean? So when people come here and they talk about Maddies, they looked it up, they found it, I'm like, you know you're sitting in a legend right now, right? Like, because they are, and a lot of people don't know that. And then I tell them that we're gonna be 80 years old on Valentine's Day, and that, you know, I always warn them about the drinks because we do also have a reputation for a stiff pour, which we've had for decades, and we will never break that. But that's why people come, and
No one's upset.
No one. It's funny too, sometimes people are like, can I have like a regular human drink? And I'm like, absolutely, because I understand. But you know, people who know what this is, they come looking for specific things. And there's the Thunderdome drink, that's our signature cocktail that was made up 45 years ago. There's two guys that used to run this room, Chip and Rodney, and they used to work, I think, Thursday and Friday nights together. And one night, someone wanted a little bit extra punch to their drink, and Chip, they used to make a lot of Mad Maxes back in the day. That was a drink. It was basically champagne, OJ, cranberry, and at that time it was Chambord, because razzmatazz, which is what we use, didn't exist back then. It was like literally the 70s. So they used to serve a lot of Mad Maxes in this room, and someone wanted it to be stronger. So Chip was like, why don't we just put a little vodka in it? And Rodney goes, okay, and we're gonna call it the Thunderdome. Wow. And that was literally, I'm not joking, I think 45 years ago. And it's been our signature cocktail since then. And so when people come in, I'm like, you need a Thunderdome. And then when I give it to them, and I let them get settled in, I let them try it, I talk to them, and then I say, now, for the rest of your life, if you go anywhere in the world and you say, oh, I've been to Marblehead, the first thing they're gonna ask you is, did you go to Maddie's? Because that is legit what they're going to ask you. And then they're gonna say, did you get a Thunderdome? And I'm like, and now you can say yes. And it's, you know, it gets everyone excited, and it's cool, it's cool.
For someone who's never been to Marblehead, what is a night at Maddie's like?
A night at Maddie's? I mean, it depends on the night. It depends on the season, it depends on the night, but to be honest with you, when it comes down to it, a night at Maddie's is you walk into a very dimly lit room, regardless of whether it's up or down. We like the lights low, we like it moody, and you're gonna get a drink. Honestly too, a lot of people come in here and I ask them if they like a drink, and they're like, no, it's okay, I'll just have a water. And I'm like, I like to make people feel comfortable because they think that you're supposed to drink at a bar. I'm like, no, a water is a drink. Like, I want you to come here and I want you to have a good meal. I want you to watch TV, play Shut the Box, play cards. A lot of people play board games, and they hang with their friends. They just hang. It's literally a living room. Like, my regulars will take the remote and change the station and then ask for forgiveness. Like, it's literally their living room.
And fish and lobster as fresh as you can get it from down the street.
Yes, literally. So actually, there was a guy that worked here in the late 60s. His name was Ray Manning, and he was the one who brought in the pint glass, the 16-ounce pint glass, which back then I was told that the drinks were $1.10. Beers were 25 cents. This was actually from Chip Percy, who was the bar manager of this room for 28 years.
Legend.
Literal legend. He actually went and opened his own bar down the street, the Three Cod, and he's done great. And it's funny because Chip, the way he explains it, you know, Ray brought in the 16-ounce pint glass, and there's a guy that, he worked at the BYC in the kitchen. His name was Jackie Ware, and he came over and he was the new chef here, and he brought fish and chips, chowder, like good blue cheese dressing. So like the fried seafood and the chowder thing originated, I would say, probably in like the 70s when Jackie Ware came over. And then the 16-ounce pint glass when Ray Manning was here. And it just really like, that's kind of what started the vibe, the buzz, you know what I mean?
Mystique.
Yes. There's a lot of people that, you know, they knew the original owner, Kenny, and I think Kenny would be really proud of what Loretta has. So Loretta, she's owned it for 17 years at this point now, and Loretta did it the right way. She came into town, she's from Michigan, she was living in Boston, but the bar became available shockingly, and she scooped it up, and she went around and she asked people who had worked here, people who had been living here, friends, what Maddie's was and what the traditions were and what the legends were, and she listened and she kept it original. And so when people come in here who haven't been here for a decade, they come in and they're like, oh my God, like it looks the same. And of course some things look a little different. You know, there used to be like glass cabinets over like the glass shelving and stuff, but this bar is the same. This room is the same, and it's just, yeah.
What you got to figure is exactly what people want.
And that's what's so cool about it, is that's how she kept it. She did it the right way, and I'm very grateful to still be working here. I've worked here on and off for 20 years. I started bartending here in 2005 when I was 19, upstairs. And it's cool too, because like a lot of people come here and they're older than me and they say, oh, you have no idea what it was like back in the day. And I'm like, actually, I do have a little bit of an idea. My sister was the first female to ever bartend this bar.
What?
Yes. It was a boys' club, and my sister used to come in here as a regular all the time, and Chip just loved her, and he hired her. He was like, you know what, like, Jamie, I'm gonna put you on the bar. And there was women who would bartend they wouldn't bartend down here, but they would work the floor, because there was 2 guys on the bar back in the day, and it was a sardine can. There would be a line Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, I don't know, but literally there would be a line all the way up to Washington Street for downstairs. And then upstairs, there would be a line all the way down the stairs down to like towards the landing for upstairs. And because upstairs it's only open for dinner. So yeah, so it opens at 4:45 every day. And I mean, this was after it got turned into a bar from originally being a sail loft. That's why, hi Dennis. No, you're good. Just look down. You have to look down when you're walking. How are you? You're good. It's all good. No, you're good. Welcome to Maddie's Sail Loft. We're filming.
That's so good.
Get that guy a beer. He'll have a Bud Light. But yeah, so I was actually really grateful I just said this to Chip. I just got off the phone with him, like I said a little while ago, just because I wanted to make sure I had some of my facts straight. But I watched this era, the last year and a half of Chip's time here. And I was a waitress upstairs, and I was bartending upstairs. And like, it's funny because when you are a waitress upstairs or you work upstairs, when you you have to walk down into the kitchen to get things, and you have to get like beer or wine from the cooler, and you hear the volume from downstairs, and it's like a rush.
There's a buzz.
No, there really is a buzz, and I know that for a fact, because when I worked upstairs and I had to go get beer or wine in the cooler, I would walk by and you could feel the energy coming out of this room, literally. Like, you could feel the energy, because there's the kitchen window, and then also the Bass, have a good night, good to see you. There's just windows that like where we put the dishes and where the food comes out, and it's like a vibration. Like, and I can see the kids too, like the kids from upstairs. Now I'm like the old lady and I'm down here, and I can see the kids, like they're curious what's going on, because it's the cool spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
wow, you got me geared up for like a big night of Maddies right now.
Because it's awesome. It really is. And I've been bartending for so long, and I've bartended so many places, and I will be real with you, this bar is, and I'm just saying this, like, I've worked at other places that I have not been fulfilled at. And when I walk in this door, I'm like, it puts me in a good mood to go to work. And it's because of the regulars. Like, the regulars that come into this place, they come in and they take care of, like, we're family. It's like a social hour. We hang out, we shoot the shit, we talk shit, we care about each other. And like, when someone walks through that door, like, I'll see them coming through this window, and I will have a beer or a drink waiting for them. And that's part of the reason why people keep coming too, because they know that when they walk through that door, you're gonna have a beer put down or a drink put down, and I'm gonna be like, what's up? You know what I mean? It's a camaraderie.
And if that's not community,
Yeah.
then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
This bar, Maddie's, is obviously such a piece of Marblehead's history. What does it mean to you personally to be a part of that?
Oddly enough, it kind of, like I was saying, like there's a full sense of gratitude working at this bar, because I work it really well. And I can see people enjoying the time that I'm giving them. Like I actually have I get praise from people, and it makes me feel like what I'm doing is not worth it, because of course it's worth it, but it really is like, it makes me feel good about what I'm doing. Because when people, if you think about it, being a bartender is really hard. I'm a human being, I have emotions, I have my own stuff going on, but when people come into a bar, they're coming to wind down. They're coming at the end of their day, maybe the beginning of their day. They're meeting up with a friend from, you know, that they haven't seen, or they're exchanging gifts from November because it was her birthday and now it's December. Like I want to give someone a good time. I want to make sure that people are enjoying their drinks, enjoying their food, and I like to add a little charisma to their experience and make it personal, so when they stand up and they're walking out, they feel good. They feel warm. They feel like they came to Maddies and they got what Maddies is supposed to be. And it honestly, and I told myself like I'd be out of this industry at 10 years, and I am not. I'm 10 years past that. But now to end up at this bar and end up working here again, you know, I've been back here for 3 years, and it's been like honestly some of the happiest years of my life, because I feel good, and it's part of being here is like, honestly, I will say, is a huge part of it. Like my job is, I have a good job. I have a really good job.
Well, you are a master of your craft, no doubt, and you make people feel at home, and it's very evident, and that's amazing. So, tell me about the Thunderdome.
You want a drink?
Let's see it in action.
All right, I'd love to make you one.
Let's let it rip.
All right, let's go.
I'm Chris McNamara. Thanks for joining me at Maddie's. If you love local stories and places that give a town its heart, hit like, subscribe, join us for the next one.